Renegades of Long Beach Roller Derby, and you're watching MoonKILL Radio. Woo!
Edition of What's on the Slab. That's right, baby. We're here back with another one. Again, first, let's start off with thanks for watching. First of all, for anyone that wants to participate in this one or New Music Mondays, if you have any, again, New Music Mondays, we are going from like recent to about 15 years. And then what's on the slab, anything past that, okay? But for participation purposes, hey, we're asking, hey, if you guys have suggestions for us to review, we have a moonkillradio at Gmail. Send us anything there, along with a review of your own, and we will read it. We will read it on here as well. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, we listen to a lot of stuff, of course. We have plenty of stuff to listen to. If you have something physical to send us, I'm not going to turn it down. But again, I will say that 99.9% of the stuff that we show you guys and we have, there's been a couple things that we've shown you and we haven't, is all paid for by us. All right, out of my own pocket, out of my own, money, so that's why we like to say, hey, MoonKILL supports ours and your local artists and bands and stuff, and of course, again, I will always give a shout out to George, our partner in crime, and especially for episodes like this where we're gonna talk about other stuff that MoonKILL Radio really doesn't play, but that we love. Anyone that listens to our show or has watched these shows or any of our interviews, you can tell, yes, I am a punk head, but at the same time, I am a very, very deep hip-hop head. And so we have done De La Soul on here and the Wild Style soundtrack. This is another one, a very, very important record in the hip-hop music and the rap music genre, I believe. It was important to us back then, but I think it's an important record to the sound of hip-hop and what it even what it became later, because this was like a one-of-a-kind record to me, period. And again, these are all my opinions. These are all my opinions on all these records. You guys, there's this comment section. You guys can leave your own comments or whatever. This one we're going to do is The Low End Theory by A Tribe Called Quest. Again, my favorite album, hip-hop album of all time, is De La Soul's Dead, which we did another segment on. This is up there in the top 3 albums of all time. But to me, it's one of the most important albums. Yeah, I mean, this is their Tribe Called Quest came out with People's Distinctive Travels. What is it? In the Path of Rhythm and Music or something like that. I forget that long ass fucking title. But that first one would Push It Along and Footprints. Oh man, Footprints is like my jam. That is my ultimate Tribe jam right there. But Footprints, Bonita Applebum, Can I Kick It, Pubic Enemy. Jeez, man. There's a lot of great stuff on there, right? The whole album is, I loved it. Good stuff. A lot of very sample heavy, drums wise, sample drums, loops, very loop heavy, put it that way. And then this album came out. This album, just very different. It was sounding so different than that first album. The first album was their first one. It was, oh man, it's hard to explain it. But like this one used a lot of bass lines, so you get a lot of deep, heavy bass lines. But what they did, and I remember we learned later, which blew my mind, was how they multi-track the drums, and if I recall, some of that came from like Pete Rock, because they were all in the New York scene. So again, Tribe Called Quest from Queens. You have Q-Tip, Phife Dawg, and Ali Shaheed Muhammad. I mean, to this, there's nothing much to this. It's a double album, as you can tell. It's a little beat up. It's got a lot of playage on here. I've played the crap out of these records as far as DJing and whatnot, and just playing at home. But this double vinyl, I honestly couldn't even tell you if this is an original press, although other than I've had it for, I don't know, 25 years. I actually have 3 of these, and the other 2 are more beat up than this one. But it's all written, produced, and arranged by Tribe Called Quest, man. What I didn't know at the time was that Q-Tip was the main guy making the beats. Because back then it was like, you had your rappers, and you had your DJs, and your beat guys were like your DJs, and they was the ones doing the beats, or you had other guys doing the beats for you. This is where we learned that some of the rappers were making their own beats. These guys, I know Leaders of New School did some of their own stuff, but this was like all Q-Tip. And what was great about, I was trying to explain, what was great about this record was that it came out, and to me it didn't sound like anything else out there. As far as hip-hop went, didn't sound like nothing out there, man. This was a lot of real deep bass lines, and the drum tracks were just snapping. Your hits, your kick hits were solid, but your snares were just, they were, hi-hats were high, and the snares were just snapping, man. It's just like, wow. Like, I didn't know how they did that, because a lot of them were loops, and we knew some of the loops at the time, but they didn't sound like that on our records. You couldn't just put the loop on like the sample the original record they sampled from, and it's like, how did they get that and make it sound like that? That was crazy. And what we didn't know at the time was, I didn't know at the time was the multi-tracking that they were doing, as far as your drum loop would be on like 8 different tracks, or so whatever it was, like this. I got this board, and it's like this whole board would take up just the drums, because they would each one would be EQ'd a certain way, and it was just like, wow. Just crazy how they recorded this album, and what they did. Was this Bob Power? Yeah, recorded and mixed by Bob Power, and a Tribe, and it's just, and this was probably one of the first albums that I went searching for the samples. They would say them on the back here. And it was like I wanted to get every frickin' sample on this record, because it was just so good, and it was just so just oddball to me. It's like the tone had like a lower tone because of the deep, heavy, just bass lines and drum tracks, but at the same time they were upbeat. Then you had the Q-Tip, who was more of a smooth poet. You had Phife Dawg, who appeared more on this record. This was like the appearance of Phife Dawg, even though you heard him on the first record, you heard him on Buddy from the De La Soul album. But this was okay, Phife is here, and he was just raw dog, man, just raw dog. Where Q-Tip was smooth, his lyrics were smooth, he was like a poet. Phife Dawg was just like, F you, fuck this, suck this, yeah, do it. And it was just like, yeah. And the mix of those two was awesome, along with the tracking on here. Again, one of the best songs they ever did, hands down. And I don't think a lot of people would disagree with me. But it starts out with Excursions, one of the best tracks they ever did, ever. Bugging Out, which is just a Phife song. Excursions was just Q-Tip. Bugging Out was just Phife by himself, if I remember. rap promoter, which is Q-Tip. Then you had Butter, which was Fife, all Fife Dog. And you have Verses from the Abstract, which, again, that was another one of those deep cuts that if you were hardcore, for us, that I remember, if you were hardcore into it, Verses from the Abstract was like one of those that all the rhymers that I knew at the time were like, that was the cut because of the way he was rhyming. And the little scat he did in that, like that was like, wow, that was just like, this guy's fucking just ridiculous. And you got Show Business, where Show Business, who was in there? Diamond D and Sadat X and Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian are in there. Then you got Vibes and Stuff. And then that was like the A and B side, or that was like the first side of the tape. Then you had the infamous Date Rape. And of course, Check the Rhyme, which they had a video for. They also had a video for Bugging Out. But Check the Rhyme, Everything is Fair. And then Jazz, we got the Jazz, which they had a video for, or that was the video with that and Bugging Out. That was like a combo. But that video was awesome. Then they put the 12-inch out with that, with the remix. Fucking ridiculous. But that was the one, I believe, the Jazz, that supposedly Q-Tip stole from Pete Rock. And they made the song out of it. But that was originally a Pete Rock song. He just showed Q-Tip. Q-Tip's like, I had the same records at home, so he just went and did it. And Pete Rock got no credit whatsoever. Then you got Sky Pager, and then what that was a great track. You listen just how fast it is. Just drums and a little sample, no bass in it, no bass line, just drums and a little guitar sample or a clavinet or something, and just the way Q-Tip is rhyming, bum 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 bum, what is a what if you ain't got a gun, all that. And then, of course, Scenario, which everybody knows. Scenario, again, trying to find the samples off of this, and then you figure out, I already had the record, and I didn't know it because I didn't listen to it as much. But when I figured out what the drums were for Scenario, the drums are, it's Little Miss Lover. It was a Jimi Hendrix song off of the Axis Bold as Love album, Little Miss Lover or something like that. But that's the drum track for Scenario by whatchamacallit, Tribe Called Quest. But yeah, man, I mean, excuse me, just yeah, this album, man, again, there was nothing like it before that I ever heard. That didn't sound, nothing sounded like this. This was just a great record, top to bottom, front to back. Man, I can rhyme this whole record still to this day. I can rhyme this whole record, and I still play it to death. And this is another reason why some of us this is what they call the golden era of hip hop. This is within the golden era of hip hop. And this is one of the albums that just made that era what it was. And this came out 91. This is just, yeah. You figure 91. I mean, like what the song "What," as fast as that is, a lot of songs at that time were that fast. Were like, in the upper BPMs. And we were still housing and dancing and freestyling and whatnot. But this album came out, man, and it just blew everybody's mind. And me and my partner DJ Abel, it blew the crap out of our minds. So this is to me one of the most important records of the rap genre right here, because nothing else sounded like it. And they didn't make another album that sounded like it, but there was a lot of stuff that came out after this that was just like deep bass line and drum track, deep bass line, drum track. That's it. this to me where I first heard that kind of sound. Seriously. But yeah, if you've never heard it, check it out. 1991, The Low End Theory by Tribe Called Quest. Again, it's not any hardcore rap. It's not gangster. It's just a good vibe record. Got good tracks all around it. You know, something that I believe everybody could get into. Anybody can listen to this record, and you can just get into it, man. But they are the deep cuts that are just, like I said, verbs from the abstract, which that was like at the time one of the like wow songs of that time that I remember a lot of the. And I'm not a rhymer. I never rhymed and wrote lyrics, but the rappers I knew of the day, that was like their cut when that came out, because that was just like wow, you know. Of course, Excursions, you know, and you got your other tracks, your Scenarios and Check the Rhymes, that were the singles and stuff. But yeah, good album. Go check it out. That's gonna do it for what's on the slab on this one. Again, leave your own comments about what you think. Leave your own comments about whatever it is you think, what I'm saying. Just like I said, subscribe, hit the like button. If you have anything for us, hit us up at MoonKILL Radio, moonkillradio at Gmail. Listen to our show on Saturday, Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time on KLBP 99.1 FM and online, streaming online at klbp.org. Yeah, check out our other segments, New Music Mondays, live at MoonKILL Radio, as well as our interviews, and check out our artists, man. And most importantly, check out our artists, all right? Again, MoonKILL Radio, supporting ours and yours, local artists and bands. We'll be back with another one. What's on the slab? Out.